Firefighters are working right now to stay warm as they put out a fire on Madison's far east side. We'll have an update from the scene.
And stay home if you can. That's the message for just about everyone today, with record-breaking temperatures that won't break out of the double-digit negatives.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Wednesday, January 30th. 6 o'clock today. The wind chill right now clocking in right around 47 degrees below zero. Just crazy out there.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we've lost a degree. We're down to 25 below.
Great.
Now.
Just what we wanted to hear, Hattie. Thank you.
Full of good news today.
Seriously, though, it is dangerously cold.
Dangerously cold. Don't go outside if you don't have to today. We're talking temperatures that we haven't seen in several decades here across southern Wisconsin. Let's get you all the details and show you where we currently sit this morning. Our wind chill warning is in effect for the area. We're looking at wind chill warnings through noon on Thursday for the entire area. It is an alert day today and tomorrow. Here's our forecast wind chills for the morning hours. Again, many spots checking in with wind chills in the 50s below zero. Current temperatures, as I mentioned, 25 below here in Madison, 27 below in Platteville, 26 below in the Dells, 26 below in Prairie du Chien. I've been here almost 20 years and I don't think I've seen temperatures like this ever working here in Madison. It's only part of the story though. Air temperature is cold, but you factor in a west-northwesterly wind, and this is what it feels like. 46 below here in Madison, 54 below is that wind chill in Platteville, 50 below in the Dells. So again, dangerously cold. You want to avoid spending any time outside today if you can. We'll see just a little improvement, but really not much. Wind chills will hover in the 40s and 30s below zero throughout the day. Hopefully you don't have to hit the roads this morning, but let's get you an update on the traffic maps. There are a few brake lights showing up on the Beltline right at Stoughton Road. Otherwise, things looking pretty quiet. I looked around the area, no accidents to report. Just keep in mind though, with temperatures like this, any snow on the road or ice could be treacherous, maybe black ice that you have a tough time seeing. You just don't know.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Hattie. So there is no snow day for our first responders who are spending their morning at a house fire on Madison's far east side.
Josh Breiter just talked to the fire chief there. He joins us over the phone with an update. Josh?
Good morning. To give you an idea of where exactly we are at, this is a few blocks west of Stoughton Road. We just talked to Chief Davis, who believes the fire is contained. He's been with the fire department for 30 years. He says this was the coldest fight he's ever responded to. Now, the call came in just before 3 this morning when neighbors noticed flames coming from the roof of a home. They were able to wake up the male resident, and he was able to get out okay. Both cats in the home are also accounted for this morning. A Metro bus is on the scene right now, so firefighters can take turns warming up inside. We can see crews extra bundled up this morning, but the chief says there is truly no way to stay completely warm in these conditions.
It's the coldest fire I've ever been involved in since I've been on the Madison Fire Department for 30 years. Anytime you play with water in these temperatures, a lot of bad things can happen. So the engines, we want to make sure we don't have mechanical problems and have them freeze up.
So far, no reports of any injuries, but we're told there is extensive damage to the home and no other homes are affected at this point. The cause of this fire is still under investigation this morning, and the chief says crews will stay on scene for a while to monitor it. Again, we are on the 4800 block of Buckeye Road, just west of Stoughton Road. You're asked to avoid this area if you can. Back to you.
All right, our Josh Breiter reporting live out there. Stay safe, Josh. 6:03 your time now. Another 1,600 people are back in the warmth after a power outage down in Rock County. Alliant Energy says a downed wire was to blame for those outages. It comes after 400 people lost power on Madison's east side. MG&E had them back up and running after about 2.5 hours this morning. Those outages are a major concern with the kind of cold we're dealing with today. We're going to keep you updated on those outages and any others throughout the morning here on News 3 This Morning. Now, across the Midwest, this extreme cold is being blamed for at least 6 deaths so far. The latest was a 55-year-old Milwaukee man found dead in his garage last night. The medical examiner says he collapsed after shoveling snow. Along with Wisconsin, the governors of Illinois and Michigan have also declared emergencies.
Now, we have more than 150 school closings across southern Wisconsin, all scrolling at the bottom of your screen this morning. And while we know multiple days off in a row is for the sake of student safety, it can be really hard on parents, too, and we get that. Places like Goodman Center, area YMCAs, libraries, and other places you'd usually take your kids on a day like today, they're all closed for the cold. The Boys and Girls Club, though, is one of those, and the CEO, Michael Johnson, says any family in dire straits can call and should call the club directly. Then they'll try to work something out.
If your family has the day off and you're looking for something to do, you're going to want to call to make sure your destination is even open today before you leave the house. We do have a running list of more than 100 businesses closed up on channel3000.com. That includes Amtrak. The train has closed down all routes to and from Chicago today and tomorrow. That includes stops in our area in both Columbus and the Dells. That's a hard decision to make, since many companies know opening their doors means there's a warm place for customers to visit. And others say braving the cold can mean a good day for business.
For everyone that works at Ian's, it's nice business for us, so I kind of like it.
Ian's Pizza did close early last night, but those drivers were still out making deliveries until 10. Meanwhile, both East and Westtown malls are closed for the day into Thursday until that wind chill warning Hattie's talking about expires tomorrow at noon. Now, there's good reason for all of those closures, and that's the potential for frostbite. Christina Laurie is breaking down just how quickly it can set in these temperatures. Good morning, Christina.
5 minutes, Leah. That's all it takes for frostbite to set in these conditions. Now, frostbite happens when your body's survival mechanism
numbness or discoloration of their
weather, cutting circulation to your extremities like your feet, hands, and nose in order to protect your vital inner organs. To avoid frostbite, try and stay inside, but if you must go out, cover every part of your body. Remember, mittens are better than gloves. Try to block the wind whenever possible and drink plenty of fluid, since hydration increases the volume of your blood, which can help prevent frostbite. Now, if you are outside and your skin becomes red and swollen, feels like it's on fire, maybe burned, becomes blistered, or if it turns blue or gray and feels numb, go to the hospital immediately. These conditions are nothing to mess around with.
5 minutes outside today.
Yeah, maybe even less, depending on the wind chills. So definitely some warnings to take note of. Thank you, Christina.
If you need help getting out of the cold today, Lyft is offering free rides to warming shelters around Madison with the promo code WIJADEN19. That's right there on your screen. Madison Metro is also offering free rides today and tomorrow. The Beacon opens this morning at 7:30. Porchlight and the Salvation Army are both options for overnight stays.
We have not heard of any water main issues so far this morning, and that's good because crews in Madison had to respond to 5 issues yesterday alone. Each of those repairs took between 4 and 8 hours.
Whenever there's a big shift in temperature like we had, we kind of brace for an uptick in water mains, and that's exactly what we saw today.
So this is happening because when temperatures plummet, underground frost lines plummet as well, and that puts pressure on the mains and leads to these breaks. Unfortunately for these crews, a significant shift in those warmer temperatures, like what we're going to have this weekend, potentially, that could cause the same issues all over again.
If neither snow nor rain nor heat can keep postal workers from their routes, apparently the cold can. USPS says it's going to be postponing delivery in areas across the Midwest, including right here in Madison. Those mail carriers will not be picking up anything for delivery either, although all post offices will stay open. Once they do get back out on their routes, USPS is reminding you to shovel your sidewalks and clear paths to your mailboxes to help make their jobs a little bit easier.
Pretty much all trash collection is suspended today and tomorrow as well. If Pelletary picks up your garbage and recycling on Wednesdays or Thursdays, the company is planning to collect additional bags of trash next to the bins next week.
6:08 your time now. We know these cold temperatures can be dangerous for our bodies, but they're also causing some flooding concerns down in Rock County. We're going to explain how exactly that works coming up.
Madison Metro is running on its normal schedule today, free of charge. It also plans to have warming buses set up at all 4 transfer spots throughout the city. If you're wondering why, the negative 50 or so wind chills should clue you in. Hattie's Alert Day forecast is next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 First Alert Weather Center. It is an alert day for the area. Wind chill warning continues for the entire day today. We're talking morning wind chills lower than 40 below. Many spots checking in with 50s below zero this morning. Daytime wind chills aren't going to get much better, so you don't want to spend any time outside. Morning wind chills in the 50s below zero to almost 60 below means that frostbite can occur in just a few minutes, less than 10 minutes to any exposed skin. So you definitely want to limit your time outside if you have to be outside and cover up any exposed skin with many layers. Now our current temperature, 25 below here in Madison, 24 below in Watertown, 26 below in the Dells, 27 below now in Platteville. Those are the actual air temperatures. Winds are a factor this morning. That west-northwesterly wind quickly drops those wind chills in the 40s and 50s below zero. Feels like 47 below in Watertown, 46 below here in Madison, but 50s below zero just to the west of Dane County. Now, here's a look at future track wind chill forecast through the day today. These numbers are pretty accurate for what we're experiencing right now. The wind chills are going to improve a little bit, but not much. By lunch hour, still feeling like 35 to 40 below zero in many spots. And at 3 o'clock during peak heating time of the day, wind chills only improve into the 30s below zero. So staying bitterly cold. Now tonight will be just as cold. Winds will let up, but temperatures will likely be a little colder. Here's a look at your weather track, satellite and radar combined this morning. Skies have cleared for the area, so we'll see sunshine today. You can see the semicircle of clouds extending through the midsection of the country. That really is the boundary or the edge of the polar air as it shifts to the south and east. Here's a look at those temperatures. 31 below in Bismarck this morning. Omaha checks in with 27 below for the wind chill. 40 below is the wind chill in Springfield. 32 below zero is what it feels like in Indianapolis. So this polar air is sinking southward, and we're definitely not alone. Here's a look at your forecast for the day today. Temperatures again starting out in the mid-20s below zero. Partly to mostly sunny skies through the day today. Temperatures will only climb about 10 degrees. That takes us up to about 14 below here in Madison. That'll be the high for the day. Then as we head into the overnight hours, clear skies and lighter winds will actually lead to colder temperatures tomorrow morning. Winds will be light, but temperatures could be approaching 30 degrees below zero in many spots. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We have temperatures that will still stay below zero through the day on Thursday into Thursday night, but we finally climb above zero on Friday and then really start to warm things up. Southwesterly winds kick in for the weekend. Look at those high temperatures. But the warmer air comes with a little bit of a price. There is a chance for some mixed precipitation as well as some freezing drizzle on Saturday. Let's get a look at those traffic maps now across southern Wisconsin. We'll send it over to Josh Tim for all the details. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, so far looking pretty good on the roadways, including the Beltline, east and westbound, moving well with no major delays. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad. They're not too bad of shape right now. Just a few brake lights on Verona Road and Stoughton Road approaching the Beltline ramps. No problems at all downtown and around the Capitol and on campus. Volume should be down today. Other main routes are moving well heading into Madison, but keep an eye out. Still may have drifting snow and making it very icy on certain roadways. For your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
All right, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Hattie. Over in Rock County, the cold weather causing problems for any homeowners along the river this morning. That's because ice can start to build up and jam, blocking the flow of water and leading to flooding there. The DNR says ice jams are somewhat common during these sub-zero temperatures, but they are incredibly difficult to predict. Water levels on the Rock River in Janesville are already up 3 feet.
I can't imagine sandbagging during a summer flood event, but being out today or this week sandbagging would be horrific.
River levels have slightly started to decrease over the last couple of days, but Davis says it's still a good idea for anyone living along the river to be prepared for a flood and continue monitoring those water levels every day. Wisconsin farmers aren't just watching the forecast this morning. Talks on Capitol Hill are set to start today between American and Chinese diplomats. Representatives from Beijing arrived yesterday to discuss another temporary deal in the ongoing trade war between the two countries. President Trump has already promised to impose a new 25% tariff on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. That's going to start March 2nd, unless the two countries can negotiate an agreement. Soybeans, ginseng, and Harley-Davidsons are just some of the Wisconsin products that are affected by the trade war.
Speaking of Harley-Davidson, stock in the motorcycle company is making up some ground in overnight trading after falling about 9% at one point yesterday. It came up short on its latest quarterly earnings report, which was released to investors yesterday morning. Now, while Harley finished 2018 with 52,000 more riders than the year before, sales continue to fall for the bikes as their core customer base gets older.
A new report out says that UW-Madison, it's one of the best colleges to consider when it comes to getting more bang for your buck. The Princeton Review has UW listed in the top 200 for this year's edition of Best Value Colleges. While that might not sound like a big deal, only 4% of the nation's four-year colleges made the list. Academic rigor, affordability, career services, and the salaries and job satisfaction of alumni were all considered to compile the list. Specifically, the UW ranked 21 for the best value for students not receiving financial aid and 19th for the best alumni network.
So here's some news you might already be aware of. Madison is one of the best small cities in the country. There's some numbers to back it up this morning. It is listed as number 8 on that ranking put together by LinkedIn. The website is taking into account healthcare, education, and the unemployment rate, among other things. Madison also was 11th for the most Fortune 500 companies on that list.
That particular statistic surprising, the rest of this not, even when it's this cold. We love our city.
Yeah, no, most definitely. There's always so much to do and things to see, and obviously some of those other factors come into play too. Some
for sure
ones that we maybe don't take advantage or maybe take for granted every day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, hopefully you have stocked up on groceries for the week because the car might not even start in this cold to get to the grocery store. But if you do need to pick up a few things, there's a new store helping to solve a food desert issue on Madison's far west side.
And in case you're wondering, the temperature in the Antarctic today, 50 degrees higher than us. Not kidding. We have an update on the dangerous outages we're seeing in our area in this negative 50-degree wind chill. That's when News 3 This Morning continues.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. We have wind chill bulletins in effect this morning through Thursday morning for all of southern Wisconsin. The National Weather Service changing the end time on some of those warnings until 10 o'clock Thursday for south central and southwestern Wisconsin, but still in effect through the entire day today. Here's a look at our current temperatures. We're at 25 below in Madison, 26 below in the Dells, as well as Mineral Point, 27 below in Platteville this morning. Wind chills are in the 40s and 50s below zero. It is as cold as 56 degrees below in Platteville. Now here's a look at your temperatures over the next 12 hours. There will be a little warming today, but not much. Highs will top out in the teens below zero this afternoon. Stay safe today.
We will certainly try our darndest. Thank you so much, Hattie. Breaking this morning, Reuters is reporting Foxconn is reconsidering its plans to build a $10 billion plant here in Wisconsin. Now, work has already started on the site of that massive plant just outside Racine. The Taiwanese tech company has promised to hire up to 13,000 employees at that LCD screen factory. Foxconn's chief executive told Reuters now that the plans have been scaled back and may even be shelved due to labor expenses. According to that news outlet, Foxconn is now planning to hire mostly engineers and researchers rather than a manufacturing workforce. You may remember Governor Walker signed off on a multi-billion-dollar incentive package to ensure the plant would be built here in Wisconsin. Some of that money, though, was conditional on Foxconn following through with its commitments.
Here in Madison, families living on the Near East Side could be seeing some upgrades to an area park there. We're talking about Burr Jones Park across the street from the Tenney Ice Rink along the Yahara River. The city's looking at upgrading the athletic fields there, adding lighting to those facilities. They could also put in a basketball court and some more parking for cars and bikes. Now, planners do recognize this is a flood-prone area, so they are considering some stormwater management factors as well. The Urban Design Commission is going to take a look at those plans later today.
There's a new grocery store opening on Madison's far west side that will hopefully address a food desert in that area. Luna's Grocery opened earlier this week on Red Arrow Trail. That's in the Allied Drive neighborhood. The grocery store is the first in the neighborhood since 2009 when Cub Foods closed. Now, Luna's does have a deli, butcher shop, produce section, and a freezer section as well. Hugs are free. Beer and wine at the shop will probably cost you a little bit more.
Head over there for a hug. That's about the only thing getting me outside today. 6:24 your time now. Today's high of -14 might set a record as the coldest high temperature for January 30th, but it's nothing compared to the -37 that set all of the records on this day back in 1951. Lots of numbers there to break down. Hattie's in next to do that.
Schools, daycares, community centers, they are all closed for this brutal cold. We'll have some advice from the Boys and Girls Club next on where the heck to go with your kids today. That's on News 3 this morning. Coming up.
Metro buses are set up at a fire on the east side to try and help keep crews warm while they work. Josh Sprider's live at the scene with an update.
And it could be worse. We will take you back to record-breaking low temperatures that happened on this day 68 years ago. All right, we have a lot to get to this morning. The dangerously cold temperatures are making it tough for utility crews. About 100 MG&E customers are without power right now in the Fitchburg area, but we do want to get you caught up on a fire going on right now.
Yeah, that's where Josh Sprider is this morning. He joins us over the phone with the latest. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. We are stationed just a few blocks west of Stoughton Road right now. Chief Davis tells us he believes the fire is contained. The call came in just before 3 o'clock this morning when neighbors noticed flames coming from the roof of the home. They were able to wake up the male resident, and he was able to get out okay. Both cats in the home were also accounted for. A Metro bus is on scene, so firefighters can take turns warming up. We can see crews extra bundled up this morning, but according to Chief Davis, there's truly no way to stay warm in these conditions.
It's the coldest fire I've ever been involved in since I've been on the Madison Fire Department for 30 years. Anytime you play with water in these temperatures, a lot of bad things can happen. So the engines, we want to make sure we don't have mechanical problems and have them freeze up.
Luckily, so far, there are no reports of any injuries, but there is extensive damage to the home. The cause of this fire is still under investigation, and the chief says crews will be on scene for a while yet. So avoid this area if you can. Back to you.
And warm inside the car. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Red Cross is also helping 6 people find shelter this morning down in Rock County after a fire there overnight. The call came in around 2 a.m. at a duplex on South Academy Street. That's near Eastside Park in Janesville. Public buses were on hand as well to keep crews warm while they worked. All 6 people living there did get out safely, but the building is a total loss.
All right, we are going to head over to Hattie now with a look at our forecast. We're looking at temperatures dangerously cold today. Hattie, I mean, wind chills looking at -50 right now, huh?
Yeah, some places even a little bit colder than that. The actual air temperature has dropped into the 20s below zero right now here in southern Wisconsin. Here's a live look from the edge of our sky cam. Skies are mostly clear, so you'll see some sunshine today, but the kind of sun that is just nice to look at from the inside. 2 alert days still in the forecast. We're talking wind chills as low as 60 below this morning, only improving until around 35 to 45 below through the afternoon. So staying dangerously cold all day today and tomorrow morning. Wind chill warnings are in effect. Our current temperatures, as I mentioned, 20s below, -25 right now here in Madison, -26 in the Dells, -27 in Platteville. That's only part of the story. There is a wind this morning, so wind chills in the 40s and 50s below zero. One of the coldest spots right now is Platteville with a wind chill of -56. So definitely stay inside if you can. Here's your wind chill forecast through the day. You'll see it improves a little bit, but it's hardly an improvement when we're still talking wind chills in the mid-30s below zero this afternoon. Here's a look at our traffic maps early today. Hopefully you don't have to hit the roads. We're not seeing any major accidents or issues right now. Nothing happening at this hour to slow you down in and around Dane County. Travel's still looking good on the interstate. Just be aware with temperatures like this, there could be black ice or other hazards on the road.
Most definitely. All right. Thank you, Hattie. If the car can even start this morning, I suppose. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Let's take another look right now at some of the power outages Danica was talking about here in the Madison area. Nearly 200 people in Fitchburg have no power right now. Now, those are all MG&E customers. You might remember another 400 people on Madison's east side lost their power for about 2.5 hours earlier this morning. That has since been restored. We are going to keep you updated with those outages and any others happening throughout the morning.
So a new house was listed at $9,000. I Love Lucy premiered on CBS, and the first Super Bowl was still more than 15 years away. We're talking about January 30th, 1951, 68 years ago to the day. Madison set an all-time coldest temperature record of -37 degrees. That is without wind chill, folks. We are, for the comparison, around -20 something this morning. These are the front pages of the local papers from that afternoon and the next day, thanks to the Wisconsin Historical Society. The University of Wisconsin-Madison burned almost 600 tons of coal in a 48-hour period. That's 3 times the amount it was typically burning. Despite the cold, Madison schools were still open on that day, although the Cap Times reported attendance was down.
That is a different story today. We currently have more than 150 closures listed over on channel3000.com, including Madison schools and even UW-Madison, marking the first full day since 2012 that the university has closed due to weather. You can keep an eye out to double-check closures for your kiddos. That's happening right there on the bottom of your screen.
We know these closures can make it difficult on parents, right? And lots of you are probably wondering what to do with the kids this morning with another day off of school and potentially yet another tomorrow. Not a lot of options out there since a lot of daycares, businesses, community centers, libraries, you name it, they are closing for the record cold. Now, Michael Johnson with the Boys and Girls Club says it's a decision he really hates to make because he knows how much people rely on organizations like his to help out kids. He says the Boys and Girls Club does make that call based on the safety of those working, volunteering, and attending the Boys and Girls Club. He encourages people to stay home with their kids if they can, but he knows that's not always possible.
If you're in a position to stay home, keep your kids indoors. If you have to go to work, I would encourage to find a relative or friend that can, babysit your kids during the day or during the evening.
Michael Johnson says if a family is in dire straits and needs some help immediately, they can go over to the Boys and Girls Club or call over there to try to work something out on a case-by-case basis.
So here's why so many schools and businesses are closing down today. The potential for frostbite. Christina Laurie is breaking down the dangers for us this morning. Nice and warm inside. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Leah. As long as Wisconsin is under a wind chill warning, which is now until noon tomorrow, it will take just 5 minutes for frostbite to set in. Now, frostbitten skin becomes red
or discoloration.
It feels like it's on fire and you might develop blisters. Frostbite is your body's way of protecting your inner organs like your heart by cutting off circulation to your extremities like your feet, hands, and nose. Now, if you're experiencing any of these symptoms or if your skin turns blue, gray, feels hard, or even numb under the surface, go to the hospital immediately. If you have to be outside today, wear at least 2 layers of clothing. Remember, mittens are better than gloves. Try to block the wind whenever possible and drink plenty of fluids because hydration increases your blood's volume, which can help prevent frostbite.
Those are some easy ways and things you might not think about.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we have some more up on our website, channel3000.com.
Sounds like a great plan there. Thank you, Christina. We appreciate it.
While it is not recommended to be outside at all today, there are a lot of people who simply have to get to work. That's why Metro buses are planning to run their normal routes this morning and for free. Mayor Paul Soglin says the city had to choose between shutting down the bus system and depriving service to people who depend on it, or run the service with the risk of encountering mechanical problems with those buses. They did choose to keep things going, but people taking the bus are strongly urged to check online if their bus is running on time so they can limit their exposure to the cold outside. Fares will also be free tomorrow to help people get out of the cold. And here's some good news for first responders who have to be outside no matter the weather. Big Sky Restaurant in Stoughton is staying open tonight to put on a fundraiser for the fire department. The warm chili is free, but they are asking for donations. Nice little heartwarming story there for the rest of us who are freezing today.
Warms the body and the heart, right?
It does. Love that.
All right. Your time right now is 6:36, and we are getting reports in this morning of Foxconn possibly pulling out of his plans to hire thousands of manufacturing workers here in Wisconsin. We'll have the details coming up in the morning sprint.
As the man who abducted Jamie Kloss and killed her parents is awaiting his next court date, while investigators go through his phone for more evidence. That's when News 3 This Morning continues.
Welcome back. It is 6:40, and with everything going on weather-wise this morning, we wanted to take a moment of zen, and Lynn helped us out with that. She posted this on Facebook. It's out on a morning hike. Leah mentioned in the last hour, no one should be taking a morning hike today, but soak in that sun, right, while we can.
That is a gorgeous picture, Lynn. Just what we need to warm our hearts a little bit on this freezing Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for sharing. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. Maybe take them from inside today. Danica and I share our favorites right here on the program.
We can expect the man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss back in court next week. Search warrant documents in the meantime filed yesterday in Barron County show authorities recently searched Jake Patterson's phone for call logs, cell phone pictures, and videos. However, the nature of those photos and videos was not released. Other documents indicate that detectives wanted to see where that phone was in the time that Jamie was gone. Evidence on the phone could be used to determine a sequence of events in this crime. Patterson's also accused of killing Jamie's parents back in October in order to abduct her. He is set to be back in court next Wednesday. That is February 6th.
Governor Evers is talking about keeping 2 of Wisconsin's troubled juvenile prisons open for now. Governor Walker had ordered that both Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake prisons close by 2021. But the Evers administration says that timeline isn't workable. Instead, the governor wants to push that closure back another 2 years, a move the legislature would have to approve. Both prisons have been the subjects of federal investigations into inmate abuse. The plan is to close both in favor of smaller county-run facilities.
We do want to let you know right now that there are reports of a pretty significant power outage in Boscobel this morning, about 350 people without power. The police department posted on Facebook. They are aware and utilities have been notified, asking everybody to be patient. Here is the problem, though, with the power outages. Temperatures are right around negative 20-something. It feels like almost negative 50 out there with the wind chill. It's the kind of weather frostbite can take effect in just 5 minutes if you have skin that's uncovered. Hattie has more on the cold and what you should keep in mind in her first alert forecast.
We're also keeping an eye on the 200 power outages right here in Madison in the Fitchburg area. But first, it's January 30th. Happy birthday to Axel, James, and all of the kiddos turning 3 today. Stay nice and toasty and warm, and maybe enjoy some cake inside today. Thanks for celebrating with us right here on News 3 this morning. Excuse me.
Good morning. It's an inside play day today for sure across all of southern Wisconsin. We are unseasonably cold, and I thought I'd take a look at some of the other typically cold locations on the planet. These are some of the coldest spots ever on Earth, and we are on the list this morning. Middle of Russia, it's 44 degrees below zero. These are all actual air temperatures, not including the wind chill. At Mount McKinley, negative 39 this morning, 32 below at the North Pole, 25 below here in Madison. We are actually colder than it is on the top of Mount Everest, so unbelievably cold this morning. Here's a look at temperatures by contrast in Alaska. You oftentimes think of Alaska being pretty cold, but even Fairbanks is above zero this morning, 2 degrees above zero, 34 in Anchorage this morning. Juneau is at 39 degrees as well. So quite a difference in temperature compared to what we're looking at here. This is polar air that is spilling into the midsection of the country. 34 below right now in International Falls. As I mentioned, 25 below here in Madison. When you factor in the wind, we're seeing numbers that we haven't seen in decades. Wind chills in the 50s to almost 60 below in Minnesota and western Wisconsin as well. We're not alone with these cold temperatures. Even feels like 28 below in St. Louis this morning, 49 below in Chicago. Wind chill warnings are in effect for the entire area through the day today. They will expire tomorrow morning across southern Wisconsin as things start to improve. But with wind chills that we're dealing with this morning, in the 50s to around 60 degrees below zero, we're talking frostbite occurring in just a few minutes, less than 10 minutes on any exposed skin. So you definitely want to avoid outside if you can today. No airport delays showing up at any of the major airports around the area, although likely there have already been some cancellations due to the weather. But looking good across the country. No other delays to report at this hour. If you want to get out of this cold, I would consider heading south. Phoenix would be a nice spot today. Cloudy skies, but doesn't matter. 74 degrees. I think I'd take some clouds with that. And in Florida, 52 in Jacksonville, but 71 down south in Miami. So you have to go well into the southern tier of the United States to even get above freezing today. We're not even going to come close to the freezing point today. We'll be in the double digits below zero. Here's a look at your future track wind chill forecast during the warmest time of the day, a little bit later on this afternoon. Wind chills are still right around 30 degrees below zero. So let's take a look at that extended forecast. We'll show you what's going to happen as we go through the next couple of days. Bitterly cold, but then coming out of the deep freeze as we head into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures get back into the 30s, even 40s on Sunday. That warm air, though, comes with a bit of a price. There will be some freezing drizzle possible on Saturday, maybe a mix on Sunday into Monday as well. Let's take a look at our pet walk forecast this morning. I think we have a pair. It's a cute, oh, look at these bus buds. Kylie and Zoe and Reese. They're the same size. I love it. They better stay inside today. It's too cold for those little fingers. 14 degrees below zero is the high.
No pet walk today.
No.
All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
The morning sprint's coming up next on News 3 this morning. Stay with us. 6:52, time for the morning sprint. Alliant now has about 1,000 people without power in the Boscobel area this morning. All of the phones at the police department and City Hall are dead there. Hundreds of MG&E customers don't have electricity in the Fitchburg area either.
Yeah, and this is on a morning where wind chills are about 50 below zero. Christina Laurie has more on what that means for frostbite risks, but we start with an update on the alert day forecast. Hattie?
It is an alert day for southern Wisconsin. Skies are clear. Looks nice outside when you see the sunrise, but don't be fooled. Wind chill warnings continue for the entire area today. They will expire Thursday morning. Here's a look at your wind chill forecast through the day today. We're in the 50s below zero this morning, climbing only to the 30s below zero later on this afternoon. Stay safe today.
5 minutes is all it takes for frostbite to set in these conditions. You'll know you have frostbite if your skin becomes red and swollen. It'll feel like it's on fire and you might develop blisters. In more advanced cases, your skin may turn blue, gray, or feel hard and even numb under the surface. If that happens, go to the hospital immediately. We have a full list of frostbite indicators on our website, channel3000.com.
Thank you so much, Christina. Across the Midwest, the extreme cold is being blamed for at least 6 deaths so far. The latest was a 55-year-old Milwaukee man found dead in his garage last night. The medical examiner says he collapsed after shoveling snow. Along with Wisconsin, the governors of Illinois and Michigan have also declared emergencies.
O'Hare, one of the country's busiest airports, has significantly reduced its schedule for today and tomorrow. As the coldest air on the planet settles in over the Midwest, there are about 10 departures that are already canceled out of Dane County Regional already today. It could feel as cold as 60 below zero around Chicago and Madison this morning. In Minnesota, they are calling for wind chills of negative 70.
If you're in a position to stay home, keep your kids indoors. If you have to go to work, I would encourage to find a relative or friend that can, babysit your kids during the day or during the evening.
That right there is Michael Johnson, the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. With 150 school closings listed on channel3000.com, lots of parents wondering what to do with their kids who are home from school. The Boys and Girls Club is closed today, along with lots of daycares and community centers. Michael Johnson says he hates making that decision because people rely on the club, but he had to make the call for the safety of those working, volunteering, or attending.
USPS will postpone mail service and delivery across 5 Midwestern states today. That includes delivery services here in Madison. All post offices will remain open, but carriers will not be picking up anything for delivery either. Once they do get back on the routes, USPS is reminding you to shovel your sidewalks and clear the paths to the mailboxes to make their jobs a little easier.
First responders are fighting the cold this morning at a pair of fires in our area. The Red Cross is helping 6 people find shelter after a fire in Janesville overnight. That call came in around 2 a.m. at a duplex on South Academy Street near Eastside Park. Public buses were on hand to help keep crews warm while they worked. All 6 people living there did get out safely, but their building is a total loss.
A Metro bus is on the scene of a house fire on Madison's Far East Side to help firefighters stay warm this morning. Fire Chief Stephen Davis says this is the coldest response that he has seen in his 30 years on duty. A man woke up in his home on Buckeye Road, west of Stoughton Road, around 3 o'clock this morning. He noticed flames coming from the roof of the building. That person was able to get out safely, as well as 2 cats in the home. There were no reports of injuries, but there is extensive damage. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Back in Madison, a man is facing charges for disorderly conduct and resisting police after pulling a knife on people at a downtown bar last night. Police say a 46-year-old staffer was acting out inside Paradise Lounge on the Capitol Square and had to be escorted outside, where he pulled out a knife. When police arrived, he wouldn't comply and had to be tased multiple times. His name has not yet been released.
Foxconn is reportedly reconsidering its plans to build a $10 billion plant here in Wisconsin. Work has already started on the site of that massive plant just outside Racine. The Taiwanese tech company promised to hire up to 13,000 employees at the LCD screen factory. An assistant to Foxconn's chief executive told Reuters that original plans have been scaled back and may even be shelved due to labor expenses. According to that news source, Foxconn's now planning to hire mostly engineers and researchers rather than a manufacturing workforce.
A longtime advisor to President Trump is sending him a warning this morning. Roger Stone pleaded not guilty to 7 charges, including witness tampering and making false statements. Special counsel Robert Mueller is looking into Stone's knowledge of the Trump campaign's ties to Russian hackers. Meanwhile, Stone says Trump's presidency is in moral peril. He called the Russia investigation a, quote, speeding bullet heading for the president's head.
6:57, almost your time this morning. Could be black ice out on the roads, most definitely. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with one more look at traffic. Hi, Josh.
Hi, good morning. Still moving all right on the Beltline. A few brake lights starting to show up westbound near the Stoughton Road exit, but really nothing that'll delay you quite yet. Looking pretty good on John Nolan, but there are a few slowdowns showing up near the Monona Terrace, inbound and outbound. Other main routes are moving well heading into Madison, but keep an eye out. Still may have some drifting snow, making it very icy on the roadways. For your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And again, the shot is beautiful from the Edgewater Skycam this morning. The pinks and the oranges in the sky, but you don't want to be outside if you don't have to be today. Temperatures are around 25, 26 below zero this morning. We'll climb only into the teens below zero this afternoon. Wind chills remain well below that.
Oof. Not much else to say other than that. We are still continuing to follow those power outages. 1,000 out in Boscobel and Blue River. Another 700 here in Fitchburg. Look to channel3000.com for updates.